So this is it, motherfuckers. KSI, Logan Paul 2, the rematch. I've been watching fighting since I was a kid. I've seen legends who had so much skill lay on the line for world titles, and yet I've never been more invested in a fight in my life. In one corner, KSI, the king of English YouTube. So many YouTubers owe their careers to him. The charisma he had was just unparalleled. Back in 2014, when everyone was staying in their lane, he was breaking out of every single box anyone tried to put him in, repeatedly. Comedy, gaming, music, now fighting. An all-round born entertainer. In the other corner, it's Captain America, Logan Paul. He is the embodiment of what people around the world see as an all-American boy. Blonde-haired, blue-eyed kid, just handsome, charismatic, athletic, can turn his hand to anything and smash it. And a soaring rise to success, the likes of which we hadn't seen before on YouTube. And these two have had a bigger impact on my career than any other YouTubers. I remember when I first seen JJ's videos when I started YouTube, and I instantly realized how shit my videos were. And it wasn't because he spent a load of money making them. He just translated his humor across on videos so much better. He had a brain for comic timing. He had something that nobody else had, and he was levels ahead of everyone back then. And I remember thinking, fuck, like, I'd love to do a podcast with that guy. Like, he could make your whole career. How great would that be? Sitting in my little house in Newcastle thinking, there's no fucking chance of that ever happening. I never thought I'd get a podcast with JJ, but I DM'd him anyway and thought, fuck it. Next thing I know, he's on the way to my shithole studio. It's actually happening. I was shocked. It was nothing in it for him, just purely to help me. I'll be forever grateful for that. My first experience with Logan wasn't quite as good, if I'm honest with you. I thought he was an arsehole, and he knows that. I think everyone knows that. And it was a snap judgment of the worst version of Logan you could see, without knowing the real him in any way. So I made a video about what Logan did, and weirdly, his name alone helped me, because now 4 million people know who the fuck I am. That had a huge impact on my life. After that, Logan didn't want me commentating the fight, naturally. I was brutal. We went back and forward on a couple of videos, and then he rang me up and we hashed it out like men, and he apologized and showed he wasn't just this guy who did this one bad thing, but he actually was a decent bloke and made a fucking big mistake, but was learning from it and actually let me commentate the fight and became a friend of mine. He earned my respect a lot through that. And for both of these guys to want me to commentate on that fight, it might not have been a big deal to them, but it meant everything to me. And since then, even on JJ's last night in the UK, he's flying to Vegas the next morning. He's probably stressed out, probably wants to be chilling with his girlfriend. I asked him a favor, can we do a podcast, mate? Like, he still makes that time to come out of his way to do this before he sets off for Vegas. Top guy. Logan flies to the UK, probably jet lagged to fuck, goes and does a press conference, probably just wants to chill out. He's only in London for 12 hours and he's wrecked. He still makes time to come on my podcast and help me out. They've both helped me so much. It's a shame that I'm going to have to sit and watch them beat the fuck out of each other, if I'm honest with you, because you don't want to see two people you like a lot, but it's necessary. I want one of these guys to finish this fight, not because I want to see either of them hurt. You know, I hope that they fucking get up and everything's fine, but they need that. Both of them need to know who is the best. And that's why they're doing this. They're so fucking rich. They don't need to get into boxing. They don't need to take punishment, but they're willing to put it all on the line anyway, just to find out. And I respect the fuck out of it. And lastly, on their character, when I had a bit of a crap time this year, they both reached out to me privately, and I appreciate that. But now I've got to talk about the last fight. So I watched the fight again, and there was a few things apparent in the early rounds for me now, looking back at it. Logan looked the more natural boxer, had better punching accuracy. His technical boxing, in terms of the way he was throwing punches, looked more like a boxer. He was faster. He was stronger. When he hit JJ, he hurt him more than when JJ hit him. There's a certain connection that your mind has with your body when you are a trained athlete, when you spent years using your body in a competitive environment like Logan did in wrestling. There's an advantage Logan just has over JJ. His body is going to be more in tune with what his mind wants it to do because of years of having to do that JJ just doesn't have. And that was on display in those early rounds. And there's a moment early in the fight, first round, Logan is just tagging JJ, and JJ he's not knocked out, but he's a bit discombobulated. And I'm watching that back now thinking, if that happens again, where there's no head guards, there's smaller gloves, and Logan has had 14 months extra training to know when your opponent is like that and he is discombobulated, you move in for the fucking kill. We're potentially looking at a finish in that fight now. Now, once again, JJ's also had 14 months to be aware of this. But I'm just looking at that first fight and thinking, wow. And that is during a fight where Logan had less boxing training than JJ. JJ had fought before. He'd beat Joe Weller. If you're a KSI fan, that should be concerning, you know? If you're KSI's coaches, Vidal, I'm very good friends with, that will be of concern. You can't end up in that position again where he's just teeing off on you, because if that happens again, we're going to see the fight finished. I can't be any more fucking real than that, can I? Like, it's a serious shit. Now, before everyone jumps to conclusions, which I know you're already doing, there's a Chael Sonnen saying that I like where he says, the person who wins the fight isn't the best fighter, it's the person who fights best. And JJ didn't fight his best that night, by his own admission. He started slowly, and I know he's not going to want to let that happen again. By the end of the third round, we'd seen Logan have a lot of success through some of those physical advantages I've mentioned. With those physical advantages comes disadvantages. Logan has these fast twitch fibers that enable him to be very quick, very strong, like what you see with professionals like Conor McGregor. But the downside to that is it's very hard to continuously be that quick and powerful. And like Conor McGregor, you see Logan tire. And he is slumped on his stool at the end of that third round, breathing out his arse. Now, if Logan had been boxing more than 3 months, he would have known to take this round off, you know, get your gas tank back, avoid those power shots from JJ, and just recover a bit so that you've got enough to finish the fight strong. But JJ was not about to let that happen. This is where JJ's strengths kicked in. The stamina that he's got, this freak natural stamina that means he gets better as fights go on. And JJ's superior movement was able to count finally, because with Logan slowing down and his power not being as brutal, JJ was able to take a few more risks, to get inside, to rough him up, to make it a fight and less of a boxing match. And that's where JJ really found his success in this fight. And if he wants to win the next fight, he's going to have to do that a lot sooner. Now, despite JJ being a little bit more experienced than Logan coming into that fight, he was still a very inexperienced boxer. So he's now in a position where he's got a gassed fighter in front of him, but he's not punching accurately enough to fully take advantage of the situation he's in. And after training at Vidal's gym, I can tell you now that that accuracy will be there in the next fight. In the fifth round, despite all the pressure JJ was putting on Logan, Logan still caught him, had him in a little bit of danger there. JJ's trying to use head movement to get out of this spot, but Logan is tagging him over and over and over again. Now, JJ weathered that storm. When you're the smaller man and you're coming in against a powerhouse like Logan, the likelihood is that's going to happen again at some point in the next fight. And that could be the difference between JJ winning the fight and losing the fight. And the one thing we found out about JJ in that first fight is he's tough as old boots, and he's going to need that. Because a big unit like Logan Paul isn't going to go down easy. If that cunt thinks he's fucking hurt, he's going to be swinging for the fences, mark my words. And if he lands, you'll know about it. In the final round, we've seen Logan's cardio look levels below JJ's. JJ was all over him, and if he'd had more experience, this would be where he finished that fight. It was there for him, just couldn't put the pieces together at the end. A lot of people just think Logan wasn't fit enough, but I think a lot got to him that night. The adrenaline is pumping. It's your first ever fight. JJ's done that occasion before. People booing him. He's surrounded by his family backstage. He even said this time there's no family coming backstage, because that absorbed so much out of him before he even walked out there. And that just shows the level of detail that both of these guys are going to be thinking on. This is like world title series for them. Despite all of Logan's early success, towards the end of that fight, there was only one person going to win this, and that was JJ. His cardio was on point. He had the experience of fighting Joe Weller before. Like, he hadn't had the adrenaline dump that Logan had clearly had, and he didn't have the size to carry around that Logan had, and he was coming on strong, and Logan barely hung on at the end. Logan's going to know now he can't allow that to happen to him again. He is going to have to have done the work so that when JJ tries to drag him into those deep waters, that he can survive. Coming into the rematch, so much importance needs to be placed on who these guys are surrounded by. Although I've given an edge to Logan, they're clearly physically closely matched. I mean, no one dominated that entire fight, and they both have different strengths and weaknesses. So what information is in their brain is going to make all the difference to winning this fight. In Team KSI, we've got Vidal Riley, an elite level amateur, silver medalist for Team GB. In Team Maverick. We've got Shannon the Cannon Briggs, 2-time heavyweight champion of the world. Let's go, champ! So different. Shannon is twice the age of Vidal. Vidal's like the future of boxing. Shannon's at the end of his boxing career. In theory, Shannon should know way more than Vidal. He's walked the walk. He's won the titles. His record is without question. But Vidal's been boxing since 8 years old, and the man has an incredible brain. He is fucking smart. The relationships they have with the fighters are so different. Vidal's like a big brother to JJ. Shannon seems more like a sergeant to Logan, just shouting at him, screaming at him and telling him what to do. And maybe that's what they both need. Maybe they need totally different relationships with their coaches. And given the attributes that Logan has, speed, power, size, over JJ, who better to get the most out of that than one of the quickest, most powerful knockout artists in boxing history? Maybe that is a match made in heaven. And who better to avoid that than a Vidal, who, when you watch him fight, has the reflexes of a fucking cat and knows how to get out the way of all of the big shots and is a defensive-minded fighter and is a thinker. Merging that with the Mayweather's defensive strategy could work perfectly. I don't know what it's like to be trained by Shannon, but I've had many sessions with Vidal, and one thing I will say about him is he puts you in in-fight scenarios constantly where he's training your brain to a point where you don't have to think when you get in the ring. Now, obviously, you want to be thinking when you're in the ring, but what I mean is in the split seconds where punches are getting thrown, you want to have instant reflexes so that you know how to defend yourself and you know what shots to throw in the heat of the moment. And when JJ is in there, Vidal will have him to a point where if he gets hit in a certain place, there'll be an instant reaction where he can capitalize on the space that is available after Logan has thrown a shot at him. Now, JJ has went to the Mayweather gym, and it's quite ironic because Jeff Mayweather trained Shannon Briggs for his heavyweight title and then trained the guy who actually took it off him. That is the perfect place to be if you're going to outfight a bigger, stronger, faster guy. However, has there been enough time spent there to really learn everything to a point where it's second nature before a huge fight like this? We don't know yet. What we do know is everyone's saying he's made massive strides since he's been at that gym. And while I don't know firsthand what Shannon is doing with Logan, I do know an Olympic medalist who's seen one of their training sessions and told me that Logan looks hugely improved. He looks like he's been boxing for years, putting down multiple sparring partners in a session, lasting the entire 6 rounds, and the type of session that made him want to put money down. Whatever Shannon's doing seems to be working. In terms of the mental game, seeing them a little over a year later, it is amazing how much they've grown up. Like, fighter training mans you the fuck up, and they've gone through it, and they both seem more sure than ever that they're going to win, which just makes it really fucking hard to predict. We're finding out now that last time Logan wasn't sure he was going to win, and it did only just sort of click with him within the weeks before he fought, and that JJ wasn't training as hard as he did for the Joe Weller fight. Now they're putting that right, and I believe that they are both more sure than ever, and that they're training as hard as they possibly can, because they both know that they're not going to get an easy fight. That last fight was fucking hard. And yet, as hard as it was, they both seem absolutely sure they're going to win this one. There's a few little factors, though, that I'm sort of looking at, and for both sides, worrying for them a little bit. Like, Logan's training out of his back garden, it seems, anyway, from the footage I've watched. And it's like, is that, like, the best place for you? Like, I know you've got Shannon Briggs coming around, but there's something about the fact that JJ's in the Mayweather gym that makes it look more serious, and maybe that's just bullshit. Maybe it is. Maybe Logan's doing fine, but it is a bit like, is that really the best place for you? And similarly with JJ, like, earlier this year, he went on tour. Like, should you really be doing that when you've got a fucking big fight coming up against this guy? Like, is that the best use of your time? He clearly put on a lot of weight. All right, he was still training, but he clearly wasn't training as hard as what he could have been. Otherwise, you wouldn't be putting the fucking weight on. Like, that's just facts. Yeah, he was still training, though. I take that. Then Logan says he's been training every day for a fucking year, and you're like, all right, that's great, but have you been training smart for the entire time? Like, is that optimal? Or is it just hitting a fucking speed bag? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Did JJ, for example, start the serious training early enough? Or has he allowed Logan to get a massive head start on him this whole time, where that advantage that JJ had, where he had all that extra experience than Logan, has now been caught up and overtaken by Logan? Like, those are the questions I'm left with looking at this. And they might seem like silly questions, but, I care about these guys, and you read into little things, you're like, is that enough? In terms of confidence, both fighters in the last fight, in my opinion, training, weren't in the right frame of mind. JJ knew he had the experience on Logan. He'd done it before. He was feeling himself. Like, let's just be honest. After that first interview I did with him, he was walking around the kitchen in that mansion like, yeah, I've got this, no problem. And I was like, fair fucking play. Like, you believe in yourself, but this is not Joe Weller. Like, this is a much bigger guy. Like, it's going to be harder. And I think he admits now that that wasn't the right frame of mind to be in. Logan, on the other hand, didn't really know if he was capable of doing this. He had never done it before, and he'd seen JJ win in the last fight. And then not only that, he's coming all the way over to a different country. He's nervous, and he's telling everyone, yeah, I'm definitely going to win this fight. And in reality, by his brother Jake's admission, they only really got boxing a couple of weeks before that fight. And then he's walking off stage in the press conference. That wasn't a good look. Whatever was going on in his head, he didn't have full belief that he could do this. So in my opinion, JJ was probably a little too confident, and Logan was probably not quite confident enough going into that fight. Now the levels have changed a bit. You know, JJ now understands what he's fully going up against. Logan's won his respect, and Logan now knows that he can do this, and he's now had 14 months to actually get better at what he can do. And this is confidence coming from both of them now, that comes from having done the work. We've heard McGregor talk about this sort of stuff before, where I'm confident because I train well, and I know I've got the revision done to pass this exam. And they both know they're going to go in there and fight much better than they did last time. And that's true self-belief. That's not just chat. And what that means is that one of these two men is living in delusion and is about to have one of the worst wake-up calls anyone can have in life. Public humiliation on TV as someone beats the fuck out of them. And that one's going to be the person who doesn't execute their game plan on fight night. So how does JJ win this fight? Well, first off, he's got to be aware of the obvious advantages that Logan has in terms of the reach, you know, the jab that Logan kept nailing him with in that first fight. There needs to be a plan for that jab, for a start, and there will be. And when he does get inside, he needs to work the body. He needs to make what happened at the end of the fight happen sooner in order for him to have his advantages of movement and cardio take effect in this fight. The longer he lets Logan stay away from him and keep the fight at that pace that Logan set, the harder it's going to be for those advantages to take effect in time to win the fight. Another thing JJ can do is not allow Logan to control the fight. When Logan in the first fight is jabbing him and taking his time, JJ seemed a bit confused, a bit, wow, I wasn't expecting this. Like, when Logan's throwing, he has to throw at the same fucking time. Like, make this a fight, like what Andy Ruiz did to AJ. Don't just stand there and let him dictate the pace. Another thing JJ can really use is that movement that he showed later in the fight. We've seen how light on the feet he was as Logan was getting tired. If he can use that earlier and stay outside of that jab range that Logan's got, jump in, do damage, jump back out, hitting without getting hit is that's boxing. Like, that's what he needs to do. That way he can do the damage without taking as much as he took in the first fight and slowly break Logan down. So you bring him into the deep waters. JJ's cardio then takes over the fight, and Logan's punching power is not as bad as it was at the start of the fight, and then go for the finish. If JJ is to win this fight, that is kind of how I see this happening, where when Logan is trying to initiate, JJ turns it into more of a fight, rough him up, get in close in the clinch, land as many body shots as he can, and break Logan down. And don't forget, he's training in a Mayweather gym. They know they're dealing with a pretty big puncher in Logan, so the defense will have to be superb. And when Logan does go for it, which he will, JJ needs to not do what he did last time and pretty much just stand there and take punches. Like, he needs to get the fuck out of there, tuck up, defend yourself, like, be harder to hit, you know? And I'm sure at the Mayweather gym, he's been learning all about that. As for Logan, he needs to learn how to rest within the fight. There's times in the middle of a round where you're not in danger, and last time he was just throwing jabs just constantly. It wasn't necessary at all times. Like, when you get within range, get ready to fire, but like, there's times where a big guy like him needs to take that opportunity to breathe, recover in the fight, and he needs to be smarter with his choices of punches, because he was basically leading the dance the whole entire time. If he allowed JJ to come on to him at times, there's times where you're going to catch JJ for a counter. That he never really did that at all. For the first 3 rounds, it was all him, go, 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 and JJ trying to counter. It's the ones that you don't see coming that lead to the knockout. And if Logan's looking to land that power punch, allowing JJ to throw more is going to be the best solution for that. Look at Tony Bellew versus David Haye. He beat him quicker in the second fight because David Haye was trying to rip his fucking head off. Logan then needs to have a plan in place for when JJ looks to come inside and make it a messy, dirty fight and rough him up. He needs to be able to create that distance distance again so that he can take advantage of that reach, of that power, because the closer in it gets, the less his advantages take effect. Also, the more likely he is to absorb body shots and the stamina goes down, and he can't fight JJ's fight. He needs to keep JJ at distance and create the opportunity to finish the fight. And lastly, for Logan, if he does hurt JJ, and I don't mean like Anthony Joshua thought he'd hurt Ruiz, but in fact he was ready to wreck him, you know, he's really got him hurt, and he needs to judge that right. You can't do an Anthony Joshua. You need to judge that right. But if he does have him hurt, don't wobble your head and gloat at him, you know. You've got to fucking go when the time happens, because he might not get another chance at it if JJ is allowed to recover and take the rounds later. Now, I'm going to end it here. If I was to bet on this fight, you'd be going Logan Paul with an early finish or KSI in the later rounds. It's just my opinion. I know it's going to be a great fight. I'm already proud of the lads for getting in there and putting it all on the line and taking YouTube into the mainstream media, because let's be honest, the only time mainstream talks about us is if we've done something bad. So congratulations to them for that. I hope they make all the money in the fucking world, and I know that whatever happens, they'll both have their audiences. They'll both be loved no matter who loses the fight. So well done to the lads. I'm looking forward to watching it. You can see my live reactions right here on the True Geordie YouTube channel. We're doing a live stream where I'll be very drunk, I'll be swearing, I'll be shouting and loving the fight, and you can put the actual fight on your TV and you can have us on your YouTube, and, you know, enjoy it, subscribe for it, put your notifications on, hit the like button, and I'll see yous there. Thanks for watching. I'll see yous later.